Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. This is a Vibe Online with Karen and Megan, episode number 5. And today we are going to be talking about how we are building our businesses while working full-time online. We'll be talking all things to do with challenges, perks, ups, downs, good, bad, and the ugly of everything that we have experienced and come across in the last year since we have been doing this. So Meg is here. Hey, Meg. How are you? Meg is
Hi,
from Cambodia now.
I am in Cambodia now. Yeah, I'm in Siem Reap. So we moved here just last week. So it's
Amazing.
been great, just settling in period.
And you have some friends in your apartment, I believe.
Yeah, we came across a lot of spiders. I think we moved into their apartment, to be honest with you, but we've tackled them and they're out. Well, Michael tackled them, so hats off to Mike.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were huge. Absolutely massive. I saw them on your story. Jeez, oh, they were huge. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I would not be going anywhere near them. So yeah, take my hat off to Michael. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, so yes, and I am obviously at home in Devon. So from one part of the world to another. So we'll start off with talking about challenges and perks, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest challenge probably when we've started doing this was the time and figuring out and understanding how it was all going to work, how we were going to kind of slot it all into our already what we thought were extremely busy days, but we didn't have any spare time
Mhm.
to then realizing that we had a lot more spare time than what we were telling ourselves.
Yes.
And I think we were all guilty of binging on Netflix, chilling out, not really wanting to do anything after our day jobs. But when you analyze your day and analyze your time, you've actually got quite a lot of spare time. So,
Mm.
uh, yeah, I certainly have a lot more spare time than what I thought. And I have, to be fair, an hour to 2 hours in the morning to, again, another 2 to 3 hours in an evening. So I don't know what I did with that time before.
Yeah, I know. And I think we touched on this last week. So if you guys are listening to this and you haven't listened to last week's episode, then do go back and listen to it because we talk about this as well. But managing our time and juggling our time when you're building a business alongside your job, um, it can be a challenge at first because, as Karen says, you kind of feel like you don't have any time there or any time available. And it's really when you start to look at the time that you spend in places, screen time, Netflix. I mean, how long does it take to cook and clean up dinner some days, you know? And if you don't have a schedule or a kind of, we started to time things, didn't we, actually? How long
Yeah.
does this take me? Because
Yeah.
you don't really recognize it until, you actually become aware of it. So I think it it's it's that recognizing where you spend your time and thinking about how you prioritize your time to juggle it alongside, a busy full-time job, as well as, Karen, you have a family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you kind of, what was a, what could you say to the listeners now that are either starting building their business or, thinking about it and they're thinking, no, I don't have time, I've got family, I've got a full-time job, I do this, I do this. What would you
Yeah.
say to those people? Because you've managed it so well.
I think just initially, the thing for me was finding out exactly the hours that I had to be in my job, that I had to physically work. So once I had, obviously they're the same every day, and then I took whatever I had in the morning. So when I was still living in Scotland, I started work at 7 every morning, so that's early. So I had to
Yeah.
be up at 6 to leave the house at 6:30 to be in work for sort of 7. And then I was working till 4, wasn't getting home till 4:30, 5. So then it was, what time did I have after I got home and cooked and tidied and did all that kind of stuff? Now, I am quite lucky. I do have a family, but I don't have kids that live with me full time. Obviously, as people who know me, I've been through a divorce. My kids are older, my partner's kids are younger, and we do have them every other weekend. So it does make it a little bit easier, but it's still a challenge.
Mm.
But I think now that I've managed to time block, which is massive for me. So I dedicate my time that I know exactly what I'm doing. At this time is business time, this time's work time, this time's family time. And I've learned to to really separate that time. Whereas in the beginning, I was dabbling into a little bit of everything, and I was getting so overwhelmed with it all. And then I was
Discipline,
like,
isn't it?
very much so, yeah. And even what I did initially is I had when I was working from home on my job, I had one half of my dining room table for my job, and I had the other half for my business. So I would physically get up and move seats so that I was still separating, still in the same room, but still separating my jobs. And then obviously
Yeah.
at nighttime when I'm done, shut the laptop, put it away. I don't have an office at home. I'm not lucky enough, as some people are really lucky and have an office and they can shut the door and that can be it. Whereas I shut my laptop, put it in my bag, put it out of the way. Out of sight, out of mind, I'm done for the day. And then I learned to switch off. It's not something that I was able to do initially, not at all. But then the beauty of it is also that we can talk about is that the platform that we use, the training platform for the business, 95% of that is done for you, which makes it a lot easier. Initially coming in, I don't know about you, Meg, but I was like, oh, I really want this. It's going to give me the life I want, but how am I going to fit it around my time? Then when I realized that so much of the platform was done and all we had to do was watch a video and implement the training, that's when it all changed for me, because I thought I don't need 8 hours a day to build my business alongside a full-time job, because that's impossible. Like I just would not have been able to sustain that. I don't know anybody that could do that. So that was kind of my take on how I overcame things. How did you deal with the time with working alongside your job, Meg?
Yeah, so I mean, our situations and stuff are incredibly different, even though we've had very similar journeys on a growth side of things, but our things are very different. So I was working a full-time job in central London, commuting to central London every day. So what I found is that in that commute time, I would listen to training videos, or I would listen to podcasts, or I would try and read books on the train rather than listening to music, and kind of swap out those things that I would usually do and put them in for things that are going to kind of benefit me and build my mindset, or anything that could help me towards the business as well. So utilizing that time, because that's 2 hours out of your day, that you're sitting on a train, or you're on a bus. So I did that, and then for the people that know me as well will know that I transitioned then into a self-employed virtual assistant business, which I started because originally I wanted more flexibility, more work-life balance, and prior to finding this online opportunity, that was already a decision that I'd made to do, and that leap to take. So then I was building 2 businesses essentially alongside each other, and I was working from home, and I was fortunate that I had an office. But it's fortunate and also unfortunate, because then when you flicking between the two and you end up not leaving the office. But that's where the discipline comes in. I'd work 8 hours a day, and then do a couple of hours on the business. But that's the great thing about this, is it does only take a couple of hours a day to start building it up. And obviously, of course, you can do as much time as you like, if you have that time. But when you're so limited as you were, Karen, having those couple of hours a day and structuring that time as well, and because the platform is there and available to us that have all of those training videos in there, you can say, you know what, I'm going to watch these 2 videos, they're about 20 minutes each, and I'm going to implement them within this hour slot that I have. And it's not like starting a business from scratch. You have everything there and available for you. So that's kind of how I worked around things. And I knew that I was spending time in places that weren't benefiting me. I was that person that commuted back from London and was exhausted after the day. So I would, make dinner, sit on the sofa with a glass of wine and watch Netflix. And that would be hours of the evening. So then when I started to evaluate my time and where I was spending it, it was actually, okay, have dinner, and then let's do a couple of hours of business, or let's jump on a team call, or let's speak to some people, let's get people understanding how this all works. So doing that flip, and actually in doing that gave me more energy. So I know that when people look into this, they worry that, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I'm too exhausted after work. And trust me, I get it. But when you're exhausted from a job that probably isn't benefiting you or giving you that kind of drive, that passion, that purpose, that fulfillment, and then you then find a business that is giving you all of that, you actually gain so much energy. And then when I started to wake up a bit earlier, you know, I used to get up 15 minutes before I had to leave for work, and then I started to get up an hour, 2 hours before. I have so much energy for the day. I'm like, how have I been awake for even longer time, but I
Yeah.
have more energy than what I did before?
Yeah, it's really, it really is incredible, isn't it? I think when you have a job that kind of like sucks your soul, you know, you get the dreaded Sunday evening, dreaded Monday morning, you don't want to go there. But when you actually have a business and you have a long-term vision and a a path of where it's taking you and where it's taking your life and how it's going to change your life, you get so excited. Like the energy that you have when you work on the business is completely different, and it's completely different to anything I've ever experienced before. And I have had, you know, as those who have listened previously, I've had my own businesses, and I've had low ticket network marketing, and nothing compares to this. So it's really, really incredible. And then the new skills that you learn along the way, which is a kind of can be a challenge, but also a perk, because the new skills, I thought initially, like a lot of people that I speak to, how are they going to learn these skills? They haven't got any skills. They haven't got IT skills. They haven't got XYZ, whatever it is that you think that you may need. You don't need any of that, because again, you're taught everything from the beginning, which was a massive game changer, but then also complements you in your job and makes your job easier if you're sort of a computer based, sort of on everybody's kind of laptop based now, aren't they, generally, in some way, shape or form. And it enhanced my skills. And I noticed that what I was picking up while I was building the business enhanced me in my job and made things easier that way, which then I suppose didn't make the job as frustrating, shall we say.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And talking about skills and stuff as well, not only with the like technical skills and stuff that you can learn with being on the computer and the IT stuff, but also that kind of personal development and that growth kind of side of it as well. You know, learning how to effectively communicate with people. You know, how to uh, like what's the word, kind of like pose yourself and compose yourself, and structure, you know, even structuring your day and all these time management things can certainly help towards your day-to-day life. You know, when you're communicating with your friends and family, you know, you're actually building much stronger relationships than you may have done before, and also being able to structure your time, so you're utilizing that so much better. You know, it goes back to that kind of juggling time. So all of those skills within this whole thing are going to benefit you in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And with that as well, you know, because it can be when we start a business, you know, it's not that overnight fix. It's not that, you know, whether you choose to take this full time online and go down the passive income route, and you know, you do this for life, or whether it's a part time thing and you want to just earn an extra 2-4K a month, whatever it might be, you know, it's not an overnight results thing. So it's that building time that you have. So in that period as well, you can get a little frustrated with the job, because you're like, I want to work more on my business, I want to build my business. The sooner I do that, the more time I spend on that, the better it's going to be, or that kind of stuff. But you actually build a lot of gratitude towards your job as well, because if you didn't have your job, it would be um if you didn't have your job, then you wouldn't be able to fund your business and build that business. So, you know, it's building, as well as it's a challenge to have that gratitude for your job sometimes, it's really about building that. And it is a perk. It is a perk. You know, you're able to fund your business, you're able to have that time, and it's going to take you to where you need to be.
Yeah, definitely. And it all just complements each other, doesn't it? It all just blends really nicely. Whereas at the beginning, you don't realize it. And it's not really, I suppose, until now that you look back on our journeys, that every challenge that has been a challenge at the time has actually crossed over to become a perk and blended and taught us how to grow and develop and become more confident, but not only just becoming confident in your business side of things, it grows your confidence in everyday life, your new job, as you said, you know, the relationships that you have with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and everybody like that. And then adapting to change, it's learning to adapt to the change, and nobody likes change. Everybody kind of is like digs their heels in, don't want to change because they're comfortable where they are. when actually change is good. Like, you should really, really embrace change. And this has come from me and my background of being very comfortable for many years and kind of just going along with it because I was too scared of the change, because it was the fear of the unknown as well. So again, it's a challenge, and it was a negative, what I thought of initially, but actually it's a perk and a positive, because if I hadn't stepped into the fear of the unknown and challenged myself to the change, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I wouldn't be able to share this experience with others who are looking to come in and do the same.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's what it's all about, is experiencing that and being able to share it with people and then encouraging people that actually it's a good thing. You know, we're here, we've done it. So many people have done before, and you know, it's not something to be scared of. Change is great. Change is really great.
Yeah, definitely.
I
It is a steep learning curve. I think
yeah,
we will say that. We will be completely honest and transparent, but it's a good learning curve, because the way the world is going is online, isn't it? Everybody's going online, everybody's some kind of IT in their business, their life, their job, their, you know, whatever route you go down, we all have to be IT savvy, I suppose, don't we? And move with the times. You know, we have to change and embrace the change and enjoy the journey, you know, just enjoy the ride. So I think my biggest takeaway from this is the fact that initially I knew I wanted it. I knew I needed more money, and I knew I wanted the freedom to be able to work online. But ultimately, the fear of holding me back, because I didn't know that I could do the two alongside each other, and they actually complement each other really well. So now that I've learned that, I can then comfortably and confidently say to people, you can build this business around any full-time job, whether you're running a family, whether you're a parent, whether, you know, you have 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. There's people in the community that have 4 or 5 part-time jobs, and they're building this business around this. And it's literally available to be built around any lifestyle. What was your biggest takeaway then, like, on your journey?
I would say my biggest takeaways is probably the reflection and a bit of realization of actually what this kind of opportunity can offer you. Because okay, you've got the short term of juggling your time with a full-time job and things, and as things really start to pick up with your business, you can start to reduce that time down and eventually go full-time on your business. But if you think about the long-term scheme of things and how much this opportunity can offer you, you know, you're able to work whenever you like around your schedule, you're able to spend time with your friends and family whenever you like, you're being paid passively, you know, money's coming into the account, you don't have to worry about anymore. You've got all the time in the world. You can be anywhere that you want in the world. You know, you're in Devon, I'm in Cambodia. We've got people. This whole thing is global, and I think it's that reflection of, okay, you know, you're going to have ups and downs. That's just a part of the entrepreneurship journey. But think about what this is going to give you. You know, keep that in mind. Have the long term goal in mind. So I would definitely say that my reflection is like the realization of, okay, this is so damn worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick it out, whatever happens. And I know that we've just spoken about like challenges and perks, but it really depends. Like we've just like, there is a merge there. There's such a yin and yang between them. And it's really about your perspective and how you see them. Are you seeing it as a challenge, or are you seeing it as a perk? You know, because you can always flip it on the other head and think, well, hell, what if we actually didn't have this, and if we wasn't doing this, and we stayed the way that we were, and you know, and is that something that you want? And you know, those challenges are good, and then the perks are even better.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Yeah, couldn't agree more, definitely. And I like the yin and yang analogy there. It's very, very much like that, isn't it? And it's also to do with your mindset as to how you see it. You know, is your what is it they say, is your glass half empty or is it half full? And
it's great as well. Exactly. How do you perceive it? And it's great as well because you have people to bounce off of. Like you and I, we have each other. We've got other people in the community that all have different experiences, and what they see as a challenge, someone else sees as a perk, and we can kind of like bounce off each other and kind of build each other up as well and give that support. And I think that's such a precious part of it all as well in the journey, to see other people's perspectives and really build on their experience and how, you know, we can help them and they can help us as well. So that's, as a collective, that's really great too.
Yeah, and it'd be great to hear from our listeners. You know, what do you feel if you are either looking to get into the online space and build a business online? What is holding you back? And those that have transitioned and started building your business, what's your biggest challenges that you've faced? You know, it'd be really interesting to hear your feedback as well, and just see whether, you know, what the similarities are. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, totally. Because I think everyone's got their own, you know, their own ways and means, and it'd be really great to hear from the listeners, as you say,
Yeah.
challenges and perks as well. And if there is something holding you back, or a certain challenge that you think you're gonna come across, you know, let's talk about it. It'd be great to share it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that wraps that episode up really nicely.
Episode 5 done.
Yes.
Hope you guys really enjoyed it, and we'd love to hear your feedback, and hope for you to join us in the next ones.
Yes, and I hope everybody has a lovely Easter weekend, as it is Easter. If you celebrate, I hope you have a great time, and if not, just
Happy Easter, everyone.
enjoy your day. And we will hear back from you, speak to you guys all next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.